And off we go, baby.
Like we never left, man.
You know, you guys are like a big part of my life now.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That is sad.
Yeah.
Hey, before we get started and everything, I just want to clear up something that has been going around the internet. A rumor. Yes, my parents did own slaves, but I just want to state for the record, I did not personally gain anything from them owning slaves. They strictly cleaned my parents' room, the den, the study, the great room. They were not allowed at my wing of the house. So I just want to state that for the record. My family did own slaves, but I personally did not benefit from owning of said slaves.
And there you have it. White privilege is not a real thing.
It's not real.
I knew it.
Thank you, Scientist Fortune, for clearing that up.
Yeah, for real.
There's a nasty rumor, some misinformation going around about basically me and my family. But like I said, we did own slaves. My parents did.
So you're willing to admit that you did own slaves, it just didn't help you?
Yes. I mean, clearly, yes. My family did own slaves and might still own slaves. I'm not sure. But I'm just saying personally.
You're not sure.
Oh, you don't know what happened to the slaves?
You're not 100%.
Where's the slaves at?
Like I said, I didn't have any communication with them throughout my whole childhood.
Well, you seem like a guy who wouldn't look the help in the eye.
That was the policy we had. They wouldn't clean my room. I wouldn't look them in the eye.
Jesus.
It's beautiful, man. You know, if you're going to have slaves, the idea that you would humanize them in any way is detrimental to the slave-master relationship. You can't have, that bond is only created by not having a person. You got to just have them as a slave. So,
yeah, I don't want to go into all the details of the slave. Like I said, I was not a slave master and never have been and never will be.
You were a user.
My family, no. I want to state unequivocally for the record, I have not personally benefited from the slave labor that my family employed throughout my life. Just want to say that for the record. Me and Jaya Tolentino both have not gained a single thing from slave labor or its practice in said childhood home.
All right, so why don't you tell us
break this down for us.
Tell us your story, Max.
Yeah, so I, like most of America, have been riveted by the story of, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing her name, but it's Jaya Tortellini, and she is one of the most preeminent young authors in America, according to my friend Seth. According to all our friends, Seth.
Okay, Seth.
Yes, so she's like a big author.
She's a writer for the New Yorker. She's got a book out.
Former editor of Jezebel, whole thing. Great author. I'm sure she's great. Turns out her parents may have allegedly been working for the family business, which turned out to be the systematic human trafficking of Filipino nurses and teachers in the state of Texas in the early 2000s, which...
Well, look. If you're a struggling nurse in the Philippines, how else do you get a job in Texas beyond getting trafficked? That seems like a classic sweatshop problem. They would be worse off without these jobs. So what's the problem?
I guess some people would say the problem would be that they were forced into labor for little pay and were stuck living in pretty substandard living conditions, which, like you said, I don't know if it's better or worse than what they came from in the Philippines. But here in America, some people would look down on that and say that's exploitation and just rude, frankly.
Yeah, it's pretty rude to traffic.
They set them up in a couple of American property management apartments in Texas. And they're like, this is fucking inhumane, dog. We can't have this shit.
Yeah, but I guess Gia denies it. She says that, not denies it, but says that her parents were set up and forced to plead guilty to
Oh, dude,
charges.
I almost got forced to plead guilty to human trafficking back in the day.
You did?
They're trying to drop those cases on everybody, bro. They're like just because you take families from different countries and bring them to America and make them work for little money, they're just like, hey, that's not legal. And not in my America. I thought that was the whole point of this fucking country.
Yep. It's a classic entrapment plan employed by the FBI. They get you to smuggle hundreds of teachers from across the world into where you live, and you set them up with jobs and give them living arrangements. And then the FBI comes in and is like, "Hey, gotcha. We were behind this the whole time."
This is classic gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha FBI
bullshit. All right, so tell me, what the fuck? Who is this person, really? So this lady's some Twitter author? She's an author?
No, she's a real author.
I know. Well, yeah, but who is she? Tell us the story.
That was the story. I just told the whole story.
Yeah, but I don't understand why is there such a debate about it? Why is she saying that it didn't happen?
So she says that it's just not true. She basically says that her parents weren't involved in this. This is something that the FBI and the U.S. attorneys made up in order. Why? I don't know. That could be a question to ask Miss Jaya, I would say. But I don't know. But she says that they made it up in order to entrap her parents or to, I don't know, put them out of business. They didn't what they were doing. This was like after 9/11, terrorism, immigration. It's like ICE is bad, abolish ICE. It's just all this stuff.
No, man, look, this is clearly a conspiracy by Big Fettuccine to go after Tortellini.
That's right.
All right? Like, that's it. Like, Fettuccine's like, I'm going to take Tortellini down a peg. You know what I'm saying?
This is some bullshit.
Yeah, but I guess they started with Filipino nurses and then moved to teachers.
So what? They're getting a cut of all this money? They're getting money? Yeah, they're getting paid to bring these nurses over? I didn't know. I actually didn't realize that people were smuggling people to be nurses in this country.
Yeah, I guess we don't have enough overweight white ladies in this country to fill those positions.
I mean, isn't nursing, they're always saying we need, I guess they're always saying we need more nurses. I just didn't know people were so desperate for nurses that they were
I read an
trafficking
article.
them in.
I saw something months ago that says there's actually now a nursing shortage in the Philippines.
Because of Jaya's fucking parents.
But I don't think it's because of this. I think it's because of COVID-19.
Jaya's parents fucking stole them, and now we don't have fucking enough Filipino nurses in the Philippines.
Exactly, which is kind of ironic because the Filipino nurses are known as the best nurses.
Oh, is that why they were trafficking them in? Is because they're like the Ferrari of nurses?
Yes.
They make nurses in the Philippines better than any place else.
Damn.
It's a known fact.
Wow.
Known fact. Yep.
So, what were the teachers teaching that they needed these Filipino teachers so badly?
Damn, that's a good question. I don't really know that.
Where
this was in El Paso, Texas? So
who is showing up to school and like you just see this terrified first grade teacher and she's crying and she has like marks on her wrists and you're just like, hey, what's up? And she's like, hi, welcome to first grade. I hope
a human trafficked first grade teacher.
Well, I'm just thinking of teachers. It's like, she's all like just like brainwashed and just battered and shit.
They just take him right out of whatever, just put him right into a classroom.
Yeah, it's like, look, man, we got a big fat contract for the El Paso school district to get some new teachers in here, so you better fucking teach.
Yeah, she's going to teach all of you the periodic table after she stops crying.
Yeah. Look.
Between second and third period.
Mrs. I don't even know what a Filipino name is, honestly. I couldn't even guess at a Filipino name.
Let's not guess it.
Yeah. We don't
how about let's guess it? What would you say?
Smith. Okay.
Well, I know it's like
they got
Tolentino.
Tolentino. Well, they have like the Spanish came over there.
Spanish background. So
let's say
like Cruz, De La Cruz.
Yeah, let's say De La Cruz. Miss De La Cruz.
Pacquiao.
Miss Pacquiao, every day when she comes in, she's gonna look a little rough, but don't worry. She just loves the kids so much that she just cries on the sight of seeing them.
It's like with the parents are like, look, My teacher didn't teach my first grader math, but she taught him how to get out of zip ties. It was weird.
Yeah,
it's a different lesson plan.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy the escape tactics that my young first grader is learning.
Yeah. My kindergartner is getting out of her car seat so quick now.
And Miss Pacquiao taught my kid how to throw a fucking mean hook, dude.
Mean hook, man. Like some very aggressive finger painting, like some crazy art.
Every time she helps paint, it's just a woman crying over a ghost of a child. And it's,
oh God, damn.
So these parents for years are trafficking these people in. This is I only hear of sex trafficking, and then I've heard of actually
purely educational.
Education. Yeah, see, sex traffic. That's got that word sex in it, so it's like
you get it,
sexy.
But
just thinking of human trafficking, some boring shit like just a teacher.
you get a fucking guy who you get a Filipino dude who's going to do your taxes, and he's like, we just stole this dude from the H&R block over in the Philippines.
Yeah, I could get you 25 paralegals next week.
Yeah,
if you give me...
making deals for the worst, most boring type of workers.
Yo, man,
that's a data entryists too. If you're interested.
Yeah, these dudes are fluent in Excel spreadsheet and all that shit.
And they won't say fucking shit, and they don't take breaks either. It's the best part about them.
So just boring human trafficking, just boom.
That's where the money is, though. That's where the thing is, people get involved in these trafficking things that it's like they want to traffic people for sex and drugs, but it's like that's where the heat is. Honestly, Mrs. Tolentino's parents are fucking busters, because if you can't keep low-key nurses and teachers on the low, then you must have been doing something. I don't buy anybody. This must be the first human trafficking bust that ended up in freeing nurses and teachers.
Yeah. I mean, they probably would have been better off as sex workers, honestly. They would have been making more money.
Yeah. Did they come over and get less than minimum wage in El Paso, Texas? And they just said they're trying to, fit their Filipino accent in with the Texas drawl.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a big
Hey,
Filipino...
partner, I wish I could see my family. I honestly don't know what Filipino people sound like.
I think that was pretty spot on. I'm going to say that was pretty good.
I don't know what people... I only know briefly because Shane Brennan will impersonate his Filipino mom, so I'm taking his impersonation of his mom, and then I'm parlaying it onto this teacher.
Fine.
So it's not even appropriation, because I'm taking it from a black guy doing a Filipino woman.
Look, I'm just going off of the 6 Joe Coy specials that I just watched. So it sounds pretty good.
Right.
But here's the other thing about her, Jaya, is that she's like the biggest, one of the biggest young writers in America, but she only has 160,000 Twitter followers, which I felt was low. Because, if you're a writer,
who the
shouldn't
fuck
you have
cares about writers?
But that kind of made me feel better about doing comedy, because, comedy is way bigger than writing. Like, Joe Coy's Filipino, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure he has millions of Twitter followers. Meanwhile, Gia, who's by far the biggest Filipino writer here, only has 160,000. It's very strange.
Well, either way, it looks like she's going to be in some hot water. So wait, but okay, isn't the reason you brought this up is she's pretty a woke lady? She's pretty woke on all this shit?
It's like new feminism. I don't know. I don't read that much, so actually Joe Coy only has 250,000 Twitter followers, which maybe Filipino people aren't on Twitter. Maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is just an unfortunate thing where a lot of people in the Philippines... Well, honestly, dude, people in the Philippines have bigger issues to worry about because their president shoots them dead if they get caught with a fucking joint on them, so...
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, she's like a big... she's I guess would be considered a feminist author. So...
the fact that her parents had...
Very
slaves.
unwoke thing to do.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, honestly, a lot of woke people, you'll see a generation above them was very not woke. That's I think often a pattern.
Yeah, it's often it's almost like they're using the cloak of wokeness in order to obscure the horrible things that them and their family have done.
I mean, I don't like hate on, I don't hate on anybody for coming from like a rich background. Like you can't help where you come from. I think that's like retarded to like be mad at somebody who was born. Like I don't understand like people who get mad at kids who were born into a rich, like that's stupid. Like you can still be a decent person, I think, and still. But it is funny that a lot of these woke comics, I'll see them on Zoom shows, and I'm like, oh, that's not your New York apartment. Like you got to go somewhere else during the quarantine. Like you have a rich family, or somebody has a nice house that you're staying in all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like this is like the struggle that is New York life clearly wasn't that much of a struggle for you during a pandemic because you are not there right now.
Right, and you could tell all the New York comics that are not in New York by their lack of tweeting about how crazy New York is now.
Yeah, it's super funny to see like who. And again, whatever, it's not their fault, but it's just funny. I'm like, oh, but
no, it is their fault for leaving New York in the middle of a pandemic because that's literally how the virus spread across the whole country, it turns out. 80% of the cases came from people that were at one point in New York and then fleeing. So, yes, we can blame them for that.
Okay, you're right. Yeah,
hey, well,
them.
this pandemic has put those old school Pace Picante ads in perspective. Remember that shit, like the salsa? Like, there's like
what's that?
The salsa ads, like they're like New York City, like get a rope, like they were gonna hang a dude because he got his salsa from New York.
Oh, right.
Now they hear that he got it from New York City. They're like, we're getting rid of him because he got that Rona. Anyway, deep '90s commercial callback.
That was deep fat
man.
kid cut, my man. That was.
Hey,
deep.
you guys don't have the Pace Picante ads on deck,
I know
man?
what Pace salsa is. I've seen it. That's some white salsa, right? Pace Picante.
Any salsa that you get that's not like any salsa that's
refrigerated.
Just no, it's
what
whack.
if it has a Mexican lady on the top? You don't think it's a good authentic?
Just Authentico? No, I don't,
dude.
No?
We've got this salsa at the store that I work at. It's called Sammy's Salsa, and their logo, like. It says Sammy Salsa back behind it. They put the two S's together.
Is it white? Is it white Sammy Sosa?
No. It's just the white girl named Sammy, but their logo is SS.
Oh
like,
shit!
Just together, like behind it, in like this weird font. And I'm like, you guys, that logo, that SS has been taken by a certain type of shit. What's woke?
Having an SS as your logo because you're so oblivious to you don't even know what Nazis are.
Yeah,
so you're like, it didn't even cross my mind.
But it's like you should check like your logo, like if we're gonna name your band. Oh yeah, SS, and you check it out, and you're like, oh.
I was gonna name my album Brown Shirts, but I decided against it after I read about the history.
Yeah, because you have a big bit about UPS.
Yeah, I just hate that they wear shorts. It pisses me off. So I think, dude, I think I sent you guys that article about how like the CIA was behind all modern art, and I'm just like, what woke comedy is the new CIA pet project. Like, the more I read about that, I was like, oh, dude, this is just like. This is an agent, because they had to be super removed. They had to, it wasn't just like a dude telling Jackson Pollock paint weird. It was like, hey, we see you're doing this thing, but no one will take it seriously. But I guess we're going to set up this fake art grant and give it to you, and you won't know that it was CIA money, and no one will know because it's just named like it's all removed. Like it's all like it's just like all removed.
Slick.
And, that's the same shit. It's just like...
Why are they doing it?
Well, they did it back then because they wanted to show that American art represented, like, creative freedom, whereas, like, the Russian art was, like, it was just, like, this reproduction of, like, factories, and it was very real. They didn't have...
Yeah, all this Soviet, like, just strong imagery, like, solid lines and, like, single... like color palettes and shit, so they're like, we're gonna subvert the fuck out of that.
So in some ways, it's not. It was like, okay, I get it. I mean, it's just interesting to think that, like, yeah, did anybody in America actually like that type of art, or was it just like promoted and then people were like, oh, this is good art? Like, you don't like if he had never got that money, if Jackson Pollock wasn't encouraged, I don't know, would he be as famous? I have no idea. I don't know enough about art history to fucking say.
I'm sure people that know art would be like, yes, it's good, but. And it's like powerful and groundbreaking, but they're so clouded by the mystique of artists. I argue with this all the time. It's like, okay, yeah, like it's good, but wasn't there like 100 other people that could do this living at the same time? It's weird that this one guy got elevated. I never know how that works in the art world.
Yeah, but that's the same in like anything else. Is just like
we value. I think we value timing over everything, really, because like if two people have the same idea, it's whoever got the idea out first. If someone does a painting technique before the other person, two people can come up with the same thing, but if the first person breaks, they're going to get all the credit for it. You know, it's just that's like a
that's
weird
like
thing.
history. It's like there was dudes who were like there was the guy who also like basically had the light bulb. Like, it's just whoever gets it a little bit earlier, that's who's going to win.
But then also sometimes people come in and tip the scales, like VHS and Betamax. You know, Betamax is better, but VHS just pours way more money and advertising into it, or they, strong arm the movie industry.
There's probably another dude like Jackson Pollock who was doing some more innovative shit than just throwing paint at a fucking canvas, and he didn't get the CIA money, so no one knows who the fuck that guy is. That guy was just died homeless on the streets of New York somewhere.
No, that dude went and got a fucking soul crushing job at an office, and then just like did the exact opposite and just
So why is the CIA backing woke comedy now? Is it just to let us all know that roommates are weird sometimes? Like, what is?
No, I think it causes like a break with reality, because like now it's just like, wait, this is funny, and it's like a question of like, wait, everything now is just like reality isn't a thing. A single reality doesn't matter anymore. It's just
everything's a conspiracy, or nothing's.
No. It's just like there's no. No, we don't have one reality anymore. Like before the internet, there was just like, okay, we kind of like, there might be some people who think the moon landing is fake, but overall, there was like a more unified, like, this is what is real, this is what is, and this was what isn't. And now it's just like everybody has their own theory and everybody has their own thing. And if you have enough like followers on Twitter, that just is a reality that you can make happen. You can just be a person who has not. It's just
you can surround yourself with enough people that think the same thing that you do to make it real.
Yeah, it's not like, I don't know. I just think like how does everybody look at like woke comedy? I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people are like, this isn't funny, and then it's like, but you're gonna get more of it. They just keep pumping the system with more of it. You're gonna get more and more of like this style of comedy, and it's just like, but so many regular people just are like, this isn't good, this isn't funny, what is this for, who is this for? If it's not for me, like, is it just this small subset of people who, I guess there's a market for it, but how is it this big when so many people think it's just not good?
I don't know. You could really like say that about like anything though, right? Like anything that's like popular, like, or any sort of like art or music. Like you can, if you don't like heavy metal, then like, but you can go to like Germany and see the Wacken Open Air Festival, like where it's like the biggest thing in the world, but then it's still this subculture. No one gives a shit outside of it.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know, with humor though. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it's just a different sense of humor that like I don't get and a lot of people won't get. But it's like with metal, you can be like, yeah, this isn't my type of music, but these are very talented musicians, and they have like they have a skill, you know. Whereas woke comedy is just like, what is the skill? It's saying obvious things that what is the skill? Where is the talent level there?
I think with comedy, I think the analogy to heavy metal isn't right. Like the analogy of woke comedy is like pop music. Like pop music is pushed on people. It's pushed on people so much that they like it
Right.
just because it's familiar.
Right.
And
I agree.
But the stakes with comedy are so much lower than with music or with movies because I just don't think there's as much money in comedy.
No.
So that they can just fuck around. Like maybe we're just like in the fuck around phase right now of like trying to find what how they can profit off comedy the most. Because I forgot what I was trying to say halfway through this point. but
hey, man, I like thinking of like whatever CIA, like the process of the CIA infiltrating woke comedy, like the sort of back alley, like Deep Throat style, like meetings between a CIA agent and like some open mic comics.
Yeah.
And like some fucking parking garage, and it's like, okay, here's your hoodie, here's your nice Nikes that you would normally wear. I'll give you those.
Here's a fitted baseball hat of a team you don't care about.
Have you ever played sports in your life? No, great. Okay, here's some Jordans.
Yeah, here's some Air Force Ones.
Here's some very tight pants that you would never be caught dead wearing before this.
And make sure when you get on stage, stand slightly askew to the front of the stage and do all your punchlines by leaning over your shoulder.
You almost have to present your joke to the. It's not just saying it. It's kind of there's a little wrist flare, and there's there's a smirk on your face, as if to say, "Here is the point that you laugh, no matter if what I said was funny or not."
Exactly. And if you could add some singing into one of your punchlines for no reason, that would be great. Just show off that vocal range. That's what the comedy audience came to see.
Yeah.
Now remember, if the audience doesn't like one of your jokes, it's their problem because they are racist. It's not your fault.
Don't you think there's plants then?
I think there are plants. I think there are open micers who come and go that are giving the
audience
government
plants.
And audience for sure, but I think there are people who infiltrate every scene. You're telling me that the CIA, they might have like a small budget where they're, because they obviously realize that art has some connection to like cultural. Yeah. So they're like, look, we need to know what's going on. You don't think that they knew wokeness was going to be a trend at some point? Like we could see it as open micers. We were like, wow.
Yeah, we were on the ground floor in 2013. We saw it.
We did.
We saw it
I
happen.
remember hearing those things, and then
we saw it bubble up.
And then in 2015, I started to see it out in the real world. I'd be like, wow, why are people talking like this all the time?
Now people talk like that. What you'd only hear at a
shitty open mic when we first started about like these. No, I swear to God,
I'm laughing with you.
It's crazy though, and you don't think the CIA was like, we just got to make sure we know where this is going, and we want to make sure we know how it's coming up and how potentially if we need to steer it. Like,
well, dude, it's gonna be fucked up when they discover that the CIA purchased every roll of raffle tickets that were used as drink tickets in comedy from 2008 to now. Every single raffle ticket was purchased by the CIA.
It was actually
funding
it could get
comedy scene across the nation.
It was actually like a special. It wasn't really a raffle ticket. It was like a little thing that they could use to like steal your fingerprint once you touched it.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Some of these shows that popped up have no other explanation besides the CIA was funding it, because some of these shows are just like, how the fuck is this a show? These are the worst comics booking the other worst comics.
Are you talking about local comedy shows now, or
I'm talking about local. I mean, dude, they're local. They're local.
This is homegrown CIA.
This is
grassroots.
This is grassroots
this is the Portland
terrorism
branch of the NSA CIA working on this.
Yeah, how insecure do we sound right now? We're like, I didn't get the CIA was controlling the shows.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't.
My bookings are down because I'm on a CIA blacklist.
I'm on a watch list, man.
Oh. I mean, that's just as credible as a theory as some of these people who are just like, I'm not getting booked because people hate me. It's like, no, that's not it at all. You're a fine gentleman. Your jokes suck. That's the thing.
That's fine. Your jokes suck.
Your jokes suck.
No, but people are using, like very powerful people are using wokeness and identity politics to steer the conversation in politics and culture at large away from wealth redistribution and towards these kind of superficial issues around,
gender
gender relations and
on the left-hand side of things, like there's so much more infighting.
Yep.
Like it's just like Max, you had a fucking great joke about that, about how the right was like solidifying a conservative base for years to come, and then the left is arguing about straws.
Yeah, we get into these stupid arguments all the time, like, these litmus tests is like, oh, does Bernie Sanders support reparations for every non-white American? It's like, well, he supports like raising the minimum wage and free health, universal health care. No one else is
good enough.
Not good enough.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like that that tweet, that thing you sent us where that pharmaceutical company hired the social justice PR person, and it's like, what did she say? She considers herself a social justice advocate, but her job will simply be to make sure that if they find a COVID vaccine, that it will not be submitted to like price limitation.
So Li Fang, he's a good journalist. He says the new head of Bio, the pharma lobby group, calls herself a social justice advocate. She will help rebrand the industry as it fights to block any price controls on vaccines or antivirals in development for COVID-19.
And like,
that's exactly
we got to rebrand as evil in COVID. Like just the...
Oh, dude, I mean, we pass around. I mean, the thing about Twitter that is funny is that it can rip to shreds this woke bullshit, like, immediately. Like, wasn't there, didn't you send us that ad for fucking,
Monopoly.
Monopoly. Her Monopoly.
God.
She Monopoly.
Mrs. Monopoly.
Mrs. Monopoly.
I think they make those on purpose, though, to, like, piss people off. Because that can't be it's a 2-minute ad.
Yeah.
Dude,
like
right. It's like, so what? So now women can learn how to fucking fuck over their neighbors if they land on their property and send their ass to jail?
Well, it's so fucked because Monopoly originally was like a socialist board game. It was made by like workers' rights woman, I think, to show that, look what happens when you fight with your friends and family about
Look
property.
What happens when you fight with your family for 4 fucking hours?
Yeah,
and ruin a night.
Yeah,
that game sucks.
I get why
hated Monopoly.
I don't get why people say it takes so long. It takes like an hour.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
No,
I don't get how.
What sort of masochistic game are you like? An hour.
The way to win Monopoly is just to buy up all the property as fast as you can, even going into debt to buy property. That's how you win.
You were going into debt to buy. You could do that.
I mean, how could you go into debt?
Well, you would negotiate with other people, like, "Hey, give me a loan. I'll pay you back to buy this property."
What negotiate? It was the bank.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You could negotiate with other players.
What game are you talking? That's not the Monopoly I remember.
Max played retard Monopoly.
No, this is high level Wall Street Monopoly.
This is
wheeling and dealing.
You were playing Wolf of Wall Street Monopoly.
You don't even have to go into debt. The whole point. Well,
Max's family was throwing midgets against the wall, Wolf of Wall Street style, while they were playing Monopoly. Man, just balling out.
That gets you out of jail. That's gets you out of jail.
That's the easiest way to get out.
Yeah, just throw a midget through the through the cell to the other side, and then he comes in and unlocks the cell.
Yeah, man, an hour, get out here, man. No way.
But no, the strategy to Monopoly is actually to buy, to get a set, to start putting houses down, but never put down hotels, because then you cause a housing shortage in the game. If you have 3 houses
Honestly,
on every...
The fact that you've thought this much about Monopoly is kind of blowing my mind right
I'm a board game
How often
geek.
did you play it?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that stupid fucking game. That was my least favorite.
You didn't like Monopoly?
No, it was... I mean, obviously we weren't playing like you because it always took forever. Someone got frustrated and bored, and then they would just start fucking up the game. They'd be like, "Oh, like I'm just gonna," they do some dumb moves.
No, man, Chutes and Ladders was my shit, man. That was
or Candyland.
That was tight. Candyland was fucking tight.
You had those trippy ass pictures. I mean, come on, not the updated one, the original OG Candyland board.
Yeah,
come on, Max is playing. I mean, That's why Max is a scientist, though, and we're not.
True.
I guess Monopoly would be pretty insufferable in a Jewish household. Just all the haggling and the bartering. It just take forever.
It's like every person who's I mean, that's why Jews do business with other races, because we don't want to fuck over our own kind. We have to fucking, it's just, it is what it is. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I think. I don't know. Those commercials are like the Gillette one was the big one that started it, and then every other. Well, not really. That fucking Dove, like body positivity one. That was like the OG one.
I don't know. It's just the funny thing about like those companies creating ads. It's like how full of themselves they are to think that like people watch that and are like, oh yeah, this commercial is gonna change the way I think about fucking anything.
First of all, I guess body issues are partly what you think of it, but I guess you just got to be confident in whatever you got, but if people keep calling you a fucking ugly slob, no Dove commercial is going to get you out of that. You're just going to feel like shit.
No doubt.
But
well, hey, so back to the new head of the woman that's the head of the pharmaceutical company. Like, what do you think, like, that process of going like, okay, like I'm a social justice advocate.
She's a short-haired black lady too. Like the image of her too is also like, look.
So they're really going after. They want the whole image.
Oh yeah, dude. It's not just a name.
It's like in Tommy Boy when they're buying the brake pads. They're like they want the Callahan box. It's like they don't give a shit about the thing that's inside. They want.
Yeah, it's a whole like look for the company to be like, look, we have a kind of like a progressive black lady who's in our company, and she's look at what she's talking about social. It's like, but she's a monster. She's just a fucking monster. That's not a good job to have. If you take a job like that, you're not a good person.
Yeah, so like that's the moment that I'm really interested in, like when they come to you with like whatever, like, because she got the bag. Like, that has to be a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, like, any lobbying, pharmaceutical lobbying job is is fucking bank.
So, like, when the pharmaceutical devil slithers up, they've got to have, like, a snake that's just made out of fentanyl or some shit that just slithers around, like...
Well, here's her background. Before working at Bio, Michelle McMurray Heath worked as a global lobbyist for Johnson & Johnson, where she led the company's push to control the fallout over its faulty vaginal mesh products, which caused debilitating pain, prolapsed organs, urinary incontinence in patients. Okay, so that's our background.
Okay, so how do you...
Dude, your job is literally telling a woman whose fucking uterus prolapsed that it's her fault and it's not Johnson & Johnson's fault.
How do you lobby for prolapsed organs?
Bro.
Like, they look better when they're on the outside. You couldn't even see them before. Now you can really appreciate it.
Now you know, all these people are fucking wondering what a uterus looks like. It's like, dude, we're leading the charge of get your hands off my body, because now they can actually see the inside of your body.
Yeah, wear your uterus with pride, ladies.
Right. It's like the pussy
on your
hat.
sleeve.
Yeah.
Where it belongs.
It's
on
just
your pant leg.
Who thought no one thought a pussy hat was going to do the job. We needed to actually see the inside of your pussy to really feel the pain of womanhood, and now it's out.
But damn, so like as the lobbyist for that, like you have to just go to Congress and be like, hey, we're going to give you this money for you to just not care about that.
Dude, the fact that a person with a vagina was arguing against prolapsed vaginas is the fucking baller move, dude.
Well, what is vaginal mesh products? I'm not familiar with the vaginal mesh product line.
That's out of our wheelhouse.
Yeah, what would you need vaginal mesh for? Ladies, call in.
I'm going to look. What is vaginal mesh?
What is vaginal mesh?
I think vaginal mesh, they were a band out of San Diego in the early 90s.
A great post-punk band.
Yeah. Dude, their early shit was tight. It got a little loose and stringy at the end, but early on.
It's very tight.
So it says, what is vaginal mesh? Transvaginal mesh, also known as pelvic mesh or bladder slings. Bladder slings is fucking brutal. Is a surgically implanted mesh
My bladder's
device.
in a sling.
Yeah.
I got a
sprained bladder.
It's got to be in a
dude.
sling for a couple weeks. I twisted my bladder playing basketball.
Just tape my bladder to one of my kidneys. Like a splint.
So, is a surgically implanted mesh device used to treat pelvic organ prolapse. So I guess it was already and stress
it was causing what it was supposed to fix.
Yeah, and stress urinary incontinences. So you put this stuff up there, and I guess basically it seems like it keeps your organs intact, and apparently it
did the opposite.
It did the opposite. But there's a whole thing on lawsuit.
Her whole thing, Johnson & Johnson was like, "Oh, you wanted those to stay in? Our bad. My bad. We made 20 million units of push that shit out."
This was the vaginal mesh exit strategy. We didn't have the if you wanted an innie, you should have gone somewhere else. We exclusively deal in outer.
Yeah, we're in
outer. It says it right
filter.
on the box. It says it right on the box.
It says Audi.
Oh, you said no tears? Oh, no. This is all tears. This is
we have
all
added tears.
This is all tears.
This is
the uterus blowout sale right here.
Oh, you wanted baby powder? This is old man powder. This is the bones.
No, this is baby be gone powder, baby.
Yeah.
This is this is a pre-abortion thing. You'll never get pregnant if your uterus is outside of your body. I mean, you could just miss it right there.
Last time I buy vaginal mesh at Walgreens.
Yeah. Oh, you wanted baby oil, man? This is baby water. This doesn't mix with it.
Oh my God! What fucking that's what I'm saying is that level of I don't know what is the version of an Uncle Tom for women? What is that? You know how
Aunt Tom.
Aunt Tabitha.
Aunt Tabitha.
Aunt Tabby. Aunt Tammy.
Oh God. Aunt Tammy. Aunt Tammy. Aunt Tammy, baby. She's just out here selling out her sisterhood.
Yeah.
Man, that's.
But they have to have a woman in that position. They're smart. I mean, does it take a genius to know that it's all like, in a sexual assault case, the guy will hire a woman lawyer to be like, hey, this woman doesn't think I'm a piece of shit.
Hey, I do think that they're people. I hired one of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the oldest trick in the book to hire someone. There's always someone willing to sell out
of course,
for the cause.
But now, but that's the thing. It used to just be like, yep, I'm cutthroat. I don't give a fuck. This is what it is. But it's so much more insulting to intelligence to also dress it up as woke. That's where look, we've always known that there have been fucking pit vipers. No one is worried. No one is confused that the world is full of people who fucking sell anybody out. But to call yourself you're a fucking lobbyist. You're a social justice advocate. What the fuck? That's where I'm just get the fuck over yourselves. Just admit it.
Well, it's because that term means literally nothing. It means that
she was like, by social justice I mean organs outside the body. That's what I meant.
Social is people, justice is loose, and we feel that this company needs some justice too, and this justice, this company is a part of society, so shit is real. I don't know what you want from me.
By social justice, she literally means that there should be women and people of color in these horrible positions.
Yes.
There should be equality in screwing over the American people.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
There was somebody on fucking posted this guy. It was a college advertisement, and he was like, "I'm an openly gay person, and I want to be the first. Openly gay." Department
Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of Defense. It's so it needs to be a gay guy who's committing war crimes now. It's I thought at some point. Here's the thing, though. Really, that is a true version of social progress. Is that, and I said this when fucking Pete ran. I was just like, look, this just shows that gay people can be monsters too. This is good. This is a good normalization process. I don't understand why people get mad at people from groups, minority groups, when it's like, look, this is society ultimately accepting them, is that now they can be pieces of trash too.
Yeah, they're people. People suck.
I want a fucking trans Lloyd Blakenfield. I want the next CEO of Goldman Sachs to be trans. Mm-hmm. And that's progress, dude. That's fucking progress. I don't know what you want.
Yep. I want a trans Filipino Blackwater. That's what I want.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Private defense firm run by trans woman of color.
I mean, these are the things that society really needs. It's not just, I don't want all old white men ruining the world. I want fucking a bunch of different people ruining the world. But I don't want this on my head anymore.
At the same time, they're going at, we're accepting more people and more races into these horrible jobs. But on the other end, we're going after more groups. Like, white men got it for a while. Now white women, it's their time to get it.
Yeah, white women are
they're taking a beating right
they're
now.
They're getting their asses
I feel bad for them. It's
I know.
bad.
I look out and I'm like, so glad that's not me right now. Yeah. Damn. Once again, I feel very solid in my white manness. This is awesome. Because white men, we're just like, we are the like, when anybody's got a problem, we are society. Like, it's like, yes, it's our fault. But we got used to that really quick. Like, we're just like, yeah, we get it. We say it. We understand that it's our fault. But white women were not prepared for this brutality. This is a brutal.
They're not embracing the moment.
No, they didn't.
They're trying to fight it off. You're not going to win this fight. You just got to accept it.
Keep your head down. Talk to the manager haircut down, and just quit posting on Facebook. They just don't. They don't have the strategies that we understood from the get.
Yeah.
They're used to being on the other side. They're the insurgents, and now they're being like they've assumed power, and now the new regime's coming in to take them down.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about this: white women, they got alcohol banned during Prohibition before they could even vote. Like that's the power of white women nagging. Like they're like. But now it's coming for them, and they don't know how to defend against their own tactics.
It's like no one prepared them to be like, yo, you don't know what you're calling for right now. You need to back up. And it's like, all right, come at it. But
I wonder what the next group's going to be. Like after white women are finished or canceled.
It's going to take a while for the white women.
It's going to take a long time, but also there's not too many groups that everybody looks at like white dudes and they're just like, yeah, fuck you, and then white women now. But after that, there's a steep drop off in racial or groups of people who are going to be. I mean,
gay men.
That's what I was going to say. Kind of like now, it's like it's not. If you're just gay or just a lesbian, that is not woke enough for some of these people.
Yeah, it doesn't cut it.
And now some people are saying that like lesbian isn't a thing. Like you can't just be a lesbian. Like you have to be like you're not truly. You
also have to know how to juggle.
Look,
or what?
I can tell you
they don't. Yeah.
Look, dude, 15 years of working at a natural grocery store in Portland, Oregon, you can be a lesbian. That
you could just
is 100% real. Oh boy, yeah, that's never going, man. That like rock and roll, that will never die, man. Overalls don't go. You're not going to stop making it.
It's like folk music. It's been around for a long time. It's still catchy.
God bless him, man. That's not going nowhere.
But what do you mean you can't just be a lesbian? What
I
does
follow
that even mean?
This lady. There's like, so now the new thing is that there's certain like trans and gay people who are becoming conservative because they don't like the woke LGBTQ. Like they're like literally leaving it because it's gotten too wild for them. So there's this lesbian that I follow on Twitter who's like a political. And she identifies as a lesbian, and she gets harassed all the time because she won't use the word queer. She identifies as a lesbian, but people online attack her for not like being inclusive enough, and they think that they want her to use the word queer. And
she's a bigoted lesbian.
She's a bigoted
lesbo.
Yes. And then there's this trans man. Who's like he's a pretty famous trans porn star. What is his name? I forget. what his name is, but he's also
Carl. Larry. You gotta come.
What is his fucking name? Buck Angel. Buck Angel. No. Buck Angel, bro. Bro, Buck Angel. Buck Angel. I fuck with Buck. I fuck with Buck, dude.
Oh, no, what a name.
Buck Angel. Had one hit in the late 90s. Early
Buck
2000s.
Angel. No, okay,
Party
Buck.
Rock.
I do want to say this. Buck
God.
Angel, probably the best transition job I've ever seen in my life.
Well, hey, slow down, man. You know what? All right, but what about him? Why do you bring up? What's up with Buck?
So Buck is also on this kind of tip of like, okay, this like movement has gone too far. Like, Buck is big on like trans being like a medical issue, and it's not just like a thing you decide. It's like and a lot of people, there's this debate like, is being trans like some type of like, they call it like gender dysphoria, where it is like but it's like a thing that you could almost study versus just like more of a choice. There's a big debate right now.
Yeah.
And he's kind of on the side of like, no, this is like something I was born with. It's like a thing in my personhood.
It's like being gay.
It's kind of like being gay.
Yeah, you're born that way.
So if you just follow him on Twitter, it's very just like, yo, like, and so basically what he's saying is that other trans people and people who aren't trans call him transphobic because he'll
Jesus
be
Christ.
So it's like just it's the whole thing of like a snake eating its own tail and da 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 da.
Yeah,
it's like, look,
that's the surgery actually. That's
yeah, that's the icon that they click for the surgery. The snail,
but
Ouroboros or whatever.
But you could, if you passed Buck on the street, you would never know. I mean, it's fucking.
You'd be like, that's a cool name right there, Buck Angel.
Dude,
yeah, your
got
little brother
pecs.
starts like liking him. You're like, no, man.
He's got pecs. He's got all these tattoos. He's got a big red beard, but he's got a pussy.
Oh,
well, good for him.
No, he didn't do the sex change. He has a pussy.
That's cool.
The reason I found out about this dude in the first place actually is because when the Wachowski brothers wrote The Matrix, one of them, when they were writing the sequels, and the reason they think all that like BDSM stuff started to make it into the sequels is because one of them, I think they both transitioned now.
They both transitioned,
but whoever was the first to transition was hanging out with Buck Angel and like was like fucking them or I don't know. They were like in a relationship or something.
Damn, so Buck was in The Matrix.
Like,
he was like,
at least in the fucking, at least in the world behind the Matrix, Buck was the thing.
Use the Oracle.
Yeah, he knew that Neo was coming.
Yeah,
he made him. I don't know. But geez, like to. Okay, so you're gonna call this successful trans person transphobic? That's.
And get mad at a lesbian for not using a word that you... It's just like, whatever. I think it's more on... I think that's why Twitter fucking is, like, should go away. Because I think this shit is born on Twitter, and then it, like, leaks out. Just how it kind of leaked out of these open mics. It leaks out... Because no one in real life
thinks like this.
No one thinks like this. No one is this fucking spicy to other people.
Unless they're on Twitter for 8 hours a day. That's the only way they're like this in real life.
Because, I mean... It's just like you see people who act wild as fuck, and this is like obviously everybody knows this, but I really do think it starts to affect people and like how they're gonna. You would never go up to a person like you would never go up to a lady who's like, oh, if she tells you I'm a lesbian, you would never be like, bitch, no, you're not, you're queer, and if you don't say you're queer, you're fucking homophobic. Like no one would say that to a real person, but they say it to her on Twitter all the time. It's like, why are you like, just get rid of this fucking app.
Well, it's only for negativity, Twitter. It's very negative. Those are the only thing that pops. That and, like, animal videos.
Yeah.
You're either dragging ass or kissing ass on Twitter. That's my motto.
That's your motto?
I just came up with that right now, if you can believe that.
Damn,
that's
man,
your
You're
motto.
either dragging ass or kissing ass.
Man, you remember that Hauling Ass poster that they sold at Spencer's Gifts and Hot Topic?
Oh, yeah. Oh, love the Hauling Ass poster.
Yeah. I had one of those.
Loved it. It was great. You did? You had the Hauling Ass?
Yes, what did it have on
it? It was like the 4 chicks in the back of a pickup truck. And like
with their asses out in jean shorts.
Out. And then on the bed of the pickup truck, it said hauling on the tailgate, hauling ass. You know, it was kind of like an iconic work of art.
Like for me, I feel like it was a key moment in my sexual awakening, honestly.
Yeah,
those posters did a huge number on me. You would go to the mall, you would look at the poster, you would kind of pretend you were looking at the alien ones of the sport, and then you would be like, damn, look at that ass.
You're like, I'm not looking at this Carmen Electra or Tyra Banks poster. I'm looking at this blacklight gnome poster. That's what I'm looking at.
They would always have like even like the weed ones. I'd be like, I don't give a fuck about the weed. Like, who cares? You know. You'd be like, oh, crazy weed, that's drugs. But really, it was the hauling ass. And it was like the beer stein lady. She'd have 2 big-ass beer mugs over her tits and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what would really make me hard, though? Was that Boondock Saints poster with William Dafoe. Ooh.
Man, Norman Reedus and the
rocked
other
up
guy.
Looking at that. Exactly. Yeah. That movie stinks, by the way, Boondock Saints.
That's a classic in guys who have an Irish grandparent wanting to relate to their roots.
Yeah, they just got they got the Boondock Saints, they got the Town on DVD. That movie sucks.
Yeah,
the town sucks.
Sucked balls.
The town's trash.
Wait, what?
I would
what? Not good.
The Boondock Saints,
Heat.
I think, is way more entertaining than fucking the town.
The dialogue in Boondock Saints is
but there's more.
Bad.
No, the town is I'm so tired of Boston. Why is Boston always getting love? Fuck Boston.
Because it's the original American city.
It's done. Who the fuck cares? There's better cities now in America. We don't need to keep.
It's just a mini New York City. It does,
dude. It's like we're so lucky that Portland fucking that penny toss went that way all those years ago. That we were named Portland instead of Boston. Could you imagine if we were Boston, other Boston,
Oregon?
That would be fucking terrible. That'd be as bad as the town. All right,
dude. I'm so tired of these movies that just get to rely on Boston as the entire theme of the movie. It's like, okay, we get it. You all love your families. You talk in the accent. You drink too much. And it's like, it's like those period pieces, you know? Like, we've all seen one of them, so we've seen them all. Some fucking white chick wants to marry one guy, but she actually has to marry this guy, and they all got wigs. And there's like one fuck scene, but it's like kind of whack, and it's by candlelight. Those movies, that whole genre needs to go. Boston movies and fucking period pieces need to fucking go.
Hey, well, I think once Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are gone, the Boston movie will be. I think it's had its time.
Is anything because that's the thing. Those period pieces and Boston movies are tied to the same old English bullshit. We need to get rid of them. We're fucking Americans. We don't need that shit.
I don't know, man. Just like in the town, it's like you're gonna fall in love with the chick that you robbed, like that. Oh, I can't stand that, man. It's terrible. But
Affleck was hella shredded in it, though, I will say.
Yeah, it's not the best movie there ever was, but I'd say it's better than Scarface.
Dude,
yeah, I didn't like Scarface either.
Yeah, any of those movies that have been fucking blown up by retards aren't good.
Yeah.
It's just
Scarface is possibly the most overrated movie ever.
It's just
ever.
Any kid, like I remember kids in high school quoting it to each other, and it's like, dude, this movie sucks. It's
long.
It's
boring,
long. We get it. It's shut up.
I remember this kid had like his Air Force Ones airbrushed with the Scarface logo at my school. Yeah.
What about
they got stolen? Hilarious.
Damn. Well, you guys got to go, don't you?
I got another virtual spot to do.
So sad. All right, well, till next time.
Man, can't all be live streamers, Jake. We can't all be regular live streamers.
Literally, we all can. That's the problem with the internet, is that we all can. This is the whole point. But hey, I get it, man. You guys got it. Jack, baby, thank you for putting this together. And
always.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start going twice a week, I think.
Yeah. Also, I want to give a shout out to Cactus Bombs on iTunes, giving us a 5-star rating and review. So shout out to whoever you are, man. Thanks a lot.
Oh yeah, hurry up and help us blow this pod up. Give us the damn reviews.
Yeah, as our backers, we need y'all help, and we appreciate it. Well, all right, dudes.
Cool.
We'll talk to y'all next time.
All right, peace.
All right,
Later.
peace.